In a world of limitless opportunities and countless challenges, the choices we make manifest themselves into the very roads that guide us. And the tribulations and triumphs that shape, weather, and bind these paths together are the very essence of what makes the world such a beautifully strange place. But we walk our path with no map, in search of answers that nobody has, simply hoping that we don't get lost along the way. So maybe just sharing our story of where we come from and the things that have guided us along the way can be enough to guide those lost in their own path.
I'm Zach Bonanza, and this is the Lost Guidance Podcast. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lost Guidance Podcast. What a beautiful day. Sorry we weren't here last week, but we're here for you today. And I'm joined by the lovely Miss Jackie Howard, formerly Noviosky. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. So, it's a beautiful day on this Sunday. I hope everybody's out there enjoying it, maybe getting a little barbecuing in for the long weekend. It's going to be a good one out there. I know I certainly will be firing up the smoker after this. But in the meantime, we've got an awesome episode coming at you. And Jackie, you've got a great story. And as I like to do with all my guests, let's just get into the crux of it. You've had a pretty awesome and interesting journey from pharmacist to, now helping on the farm with one of our former guests, Billy Howard, wife of, if you haven't pieced that together. And so let's just get into it. Let's talk a little bit about you and your story and what brought you here today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, do you want details or you want just an overview?
We can do an overview and then
Okay.
get into the details,
Okay. So, overview, my parents were, my dad was in the Army and he met my mom in Japan.
Uh-huh.
So, later in life, they got married and had my brother, John, and me. We moved around a bit and then landed here in the Utica area and went to Whitesboro. So
So that's where you graduated high school?
I graduated from Whitesboro.
That's where my mom graduated high school.
Okay.
What year?
81.
Oh, she would have probably around the same time.
Okay. And so I was in the orchestra then. And first of all, so I don't forget, want to thank music teachers for being there, and anybody who's taken music in the past would be able to pick that instrument up later in life and really enjoy playing it.
Yeah, because if you guys have seen the preview here, you brought your violin and you're playing a lovely song. What was the name of that song?
That was A Shokin Farewell. Sorry.
What was it?
A Shokin Farewell.
A Shokin Farewell. Okay, that you could see a clip of that on the Instagram for Lost Guidance, but that was lovely. So you were in orchestra and you had picked up violin then, and so you're kind of again picking it up now because you have those fundamentals.
Yes,
Awesome.
definitely. You don't, you have other things in your life that take you away from the music, and then one day you're looking for something extra to do to pass the time, and you think you can't do it, but you pick it up and you just start piecing it back together again.
Awesome. So what did you do after high school? Where did that lead you?
Then I went to Albany College of Pharmacy.
Okay.
And one thing I wanted to say is I believe in 7th grade we had a test, and it's kind of a personality test and questions about who you might be and will be in the future.
Uh-huh.
And one of the questions was, what do you want to be, as in the future as a profession? And one of my answers was stewardess or airline hostess, and the other one was pharmacist. So at some point, I believe my mom may have drilled that into me.
Yeah.
Kind of guided me in that direction. So
Your mother was a doctor as well, wasn't she?
my mother was a doctor at the Utica Psychiatric Center.
So the old apple tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my brother also became a pharmacist.
Oh, wow.
Because of her guidance.
Yeah.
And thankfully, she did guide me and my brother in that direction. Albany College of Pharmacy, although difficult, I made it through.
Yeah.
Passed the boards, became a pharmacist, and it's had been an awesome career. The salary was good and the responsibilities were high, but you do it. You work hard, and I worked at a couple of hospitals before starting with Rite Aid, and then went to Faxon Hospital, which then became part of the Mohawk Valley Health System.
Right. Okay.
So
how long did you do that for? I mean,
from 1986 to 2014.
Awesome. So pretty fulfilling career.
Very fulfilling. It was when my class was the first class to change from the scales of male to female, just over maybe 51% female.
Oh,
to
the
male.
ratio of people
The
getting
ratio.
into the career field.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes,
Okay.
It had just started changing, and there are a lot of females in as pharmacists, and was an excellent field.
Awesome. You were part of the tilt shift.
Yes, yes.
That's great. So you did that for a few years, but I know on the side you. It seems like I always, when I had started hanging out with your sons and everything, and we've begun to know each other, and Billy and everything, you always, just like him, you're always picking something up. You're always trying to learn, and like I said, you're always trying to better yourself and then help others. So when did you start kind of, diverging and meandering on these paths of different knowledges and hobbies and stuff like that?
Well, as far as trying to help people.
Yeah, let's start with that. So, like, when did you really start volunteering and all that?
I would say that started when I was in college. Before college, I did, in high school, I was a candy striper for a little while. And that was fine. But when I went to Albany College of Pharmacy, there was
I'm sorry, what does a candy striper do? I don't even.
You do whatever they need you to do. Fold baby diapers, those little onesies.
Oh, okay.
Work in the gift shop. That's what they had me do.
Just like a run around almost. Okay.
Just a volunteer, really.
Okay. I'm picturing someone who stripes little candies,
No.
but okay, not that, I guess.
Well, that's what they called us at the time. Because you wore a red and white pinstripe apron.
Got it. Okay.
So when I went to Albany College of Pharmacy, I joined Circle K, which is a service organization.
Okay.
And as a freshman there, one of the, it was, they would have different things that we could participate in. One was going to St. Margaret's Home, and this really made an impression on me as a young person. Now I'm 17 at the time.
Yeah. And
away from home for the first time, and really worried about my grades and studying and all that.
Right.
But volunteering at St. Margaret's Home was where there were disabled children.
Oh, wow.
A friend of mine and I would go, and there was a room full of children with various disabilities, no hand, the extra large head,
right,
in a crib, maybe for a 9-year-old in a crib because they're so disabled, they're just barely surviving. So our job as young people was to just have one child that we'd go in to feed once a week, and that just really took me away from thinking of myself.
Yeah, wow, what a powerful experience.
It really was. And even though they were disabled, you could tell that they knew you were there.
Yeah.
And maybe, appreciated and or gave they were the one girl's name was Alana, the one that I took care of. And she seemed a little happier.
So she feel like she was recognizing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that was a big part of.
So this kind of opened the door, opened your eyes to the possibilities, and all those out there who kind of need help and everything like that.
And that there's a lot of other people with tremendous problems that don't compare to anything that I might go through.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How moving. And so you did that throughout the entirety of your college career then at Albany?
I don't think I did it the whole time, maybe for 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
And probably just got too busy in doing other things.
Right.
So I didn't continue with that. But it wasn't made a big impression on me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you graduate from pharmacy school in, what, 1986?
86.
Because that's right after you start
It
working.
took 5 years at the time. Now it's a 6-year program.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's essentially like a master's program, kind of.
Mine was a Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy, and then now it's a doctorate.
Oh, wow.
Requirement.
Wow. Awesome. Okay.
I have one more story from the Circle K days.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So one of the best Thanksgiving meals that I ever had was where our Circle K group went to near RPI, so it was in Troy, at like a soup kitchen.
Okay.
And we just helped serve, college students there to help.
Right.
And that was just another made a big impression on me. So just being there, helping others.
Yeah.
And
the homeless community out there and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
And now you do that pretty regularly still to this day, right?
Now I do.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
You took a little bit of a hiatus.
A long time off.
Okay.
So in between, after graduating from pharmacy school, went to Elmira first, then to Rochester, and then back to Utica.
As like career locations?
Yeah,
okay.
I worked in Elmira, worked in Rochester, and in Rochester I worked at a hospital, Genesee Hospital, which is not in business anymore, and then to Rite Aid. So with Rite Aid, I transferred to the Utica area.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
you came back here and then settled roots.
I came back here because my parents were getting a little older, and I felt they needed my help. They needed me to be closer by to assist and if they needed.
Understandable. Yeah. And now they lived in, let me try to remember. Whitesboro, that's right. Still there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so you had remained at the Rite Aid for a while, and then you guys were living up in the Sequoia area, right? Or was there was a transition
That was
period?
a while.
Was
later.
there?
Well, 1990 moved back here. I was married to my first husband at the time.
Okay.
And that didn't work out.
Yeah. So there's a point that you had made. You said, you want to get into how decisions and relationships and all that molds and changes your path you're on in your life. So,
Sure.
If ever a point in the story, I guess.
So he was a fellow pharmacist, and being pretty naive, and maybe I still am. I am. I just, we followed along. We're dating, moved in together, bought a house together, and so the next thing is to get married. We bought a house and then got married. But he was the kind of person that he needed help, and I'm a helper.
Uh-huh.
And at some point, I'm like, I can't help him. He needs to help himself.
Yeah.
And he was abusive, not physically really, but mentally.
Yeah.
And it just there was a last straw, and I'm like, okay.
Everybody's got a limit. Yeah, a tolerance, a threshold,
So I left him and moved back in with my parents. And I want to commend my parents for not being judgmental.
Yeah.
I show up on their door, and they said, "Yep, well, come on in."
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's got to be really encouraging to know that you had that place to turn, because for some people they're unfortunate to not have, and they feel a little lost and trapped in those moments. So,
Sure.
And likewise, I like to feel like I can turn to my parents as well. And so everybody out there, I hope they do take a moment and recognize and appreciate and have that acknowledgement of it. So
For sure.
But it was for the best, right?
It was, yes, for the best. However, when during this time of now processing, going through getting a divorce, I meet another man who seems fantastic, and then I get pregnant. I'm not fully divorced yet, and I'm not used to this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I try to be good,
Yeah.
but that's not good. So I do get the divorce, stay with this other man and my father said, "Are you sure you're not jumping out of the pot into the fire?" Because he knows.
Yeah, parents have that ability, don't they?
Yes. So I was in the fire and tried to, because now I'm pregnant, I wanted to make it work. Never was at a point where I could trust him.
Yeah.
Never married him. Had another child. And about 5 to 6 months after the second child, so now I have an almost 2-year-old and an infant.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, again, there was another straw that I'm like, okay, that's it. I can't take this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm crying every night and still couldn't trust him, rightfully so.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am not being a good mother. So I had to have him leave.
Yeah.
He had to be. I had to do it legally. He wouldn't leave otherwise.
Yeah.
Because I'm the pharmacist. I'm working. He's not working.
Yeah.
He's doing whatever he wanted to do.
And you had the wherewithal to recognize the situation and take the proper steps, which is a very inspiring message to anyone out there listening in a similar situation,
Mm-hmm. I do think I was fortunate, very fortunate, that I have a job. I have a job that can afford to pay the bills that need to be paid.
Right. It's not like you were dependent on anything that he was bringing to the table.
There was nothing.
He didn't even bring the table to the table.
But I would say to anybody, though, it doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter. You need to do what's best for yourself, what's best for your children, whether you're a male or a female. I know, everybody talks about how females are abused, but I do also believe males are abused, and they also need to make the right step or take the right step to make their lives better.
Yeah, absolutely. And so was it after kind of these 2 periods that you kind of began focusing on self-strengthening and doing those things you enjoy again and volunteering more? Or
No.
Took a little longer?
I'm working. So
I'm working hard, okay.
Yeah, I'm just doing what I can. I'm also now, we missed a part where I bought a trailer park. And
you bought the whole trailer park, okay. Let's rewind.
Anyway, so now I thought it would work out because now he could be around the trailer park, fix things, take care of the kids.
Right.
So in that way, I don't mind working as long as he's able to be there and take care of things. But he didn't do that. But anyway.
Yeah.
So now I own a trailer park with 13 trailers. So it's small. We live in the house there. I think that was, even though it's a weird environment for my kids to grow up in.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think they learned a lot. We also owned some other. I had a house in Utica that I owned, so we would go and we would fix things. So all the time.
Yeah.
So they learned
life lessons. Yeah.
Little how to, we at some point I learned that you can't depend on a contractor to be there whenever you want.
Absolutely.
Them. You call. They may or may not make the appointment. They may or not.
They might arrive.
Call, even to say they can't make it.
They're gonna arrive somewhere between Monday and Friday between 7 and 7.
So that's why I then decided I better try to figure these things out, which I did.
Yeah.
The best that I could. And then I knew when I couldn't do it, I would have to call somebody.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Again, you're just teaching your kids these morals, and you were doing what was best for them, and that's fantastic. It's kind of like you have these underlying ethos and morals that luckily have been instilled in you in a way that shine through when you. It's like I bring it up on the show a lot. Cognitive dissonance. When you're not happy with the situation, if you have the right fundamentals in you and they've been instilled in you, then you can recognize those situations and you got to fix it. And so it sounds like you were taking the proper steps and you had the wherewithal. So if somebody's out there and they have that internal gut feeling and they're like, man, it doesn't seem right. I'm always unhappy. You got to get yourself out of it. You got to recognize that that's your body and your mind and your heart and soul telling you you're in the wrong situation. So more power to you.
Very good.
Absolutely. So what became of the trailer park?
I eventually sold it.
Did you?
But we lived there for quite a while. And for quite a while, I did no dating, just took care of the kids.
Yeah.
Or my two boys. And those were great times. And I must say, too, that personally, as hard and bad as it was, through all of that, even the worst of times, I never felt like it's over or, I can't get through this.
Right.
Always, even if I had to write out, like all these things in like a journal,
yeah,
that's how I would release this pain and, or the trouble that I had. Just write it all down, all the bad things, and that seemed to help me.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Kind of just, and they say like saying things out loud and hearing them for yourself. Once a thought becomes a physical action, you can kind of recognize it a little more and process it better. So that's really interesting. I feel like, it's sometimes good to weigh out your pros and cons of life. If you ever think it's so bad, oh, woe is me, and how will I survive? Write out everything you have good going for you. Sure, write out the bad and work on the bad, right? And all that, but also try and recognize the good things that you have as well, right?
Definitely recognize all the good things, because there are a lot of good things.
Exactly. I mean, you just got to really take pride and pleasure in the small things in life. That's how I feel anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. So continue on. We were talking about
Trailer park.
Trailer park, yes.
Fixing
it. I got detoured myself.
Yeah, me too.
So, all right. So you're with this guy, and then
Okay.
you
No,
guys
he's
live
gone.
here. He's gone. And you decide to move, or
No, I'm still there in the trailer park. So sustain that for quite a while. Oh, no dating for a long time.
got it.
Then
Setting ground rules. That's what we got going.
date a little bit, and then meet somebody else, which again doesn't work out. Of course, he seemed great.
Sounds like a track record I would have. That's okay. That's what makes us who we are.
True. So that didn't work out, and do I go forward to now?
To the best one? Cream of the crop. Heck yeah. My man, Billy Howard.
So when the other guy's gone, I had a little bit of texting with Billy Howard, who was my friend through Boy Scouts. So his older son, Austin, and my younger son, Nick, were in Boy Scouts together, and then football. So I knew him as a person, as a friend. I thought he was funny. I really didn't know much about him other than that.
Nice.
And somehow he overheard at a party that I'm now divorced. So he sent a little text message, hi, a friend of mine has said that her daughter's at your party at your house, blah, blah, blah. So that was like a little intro.
Uh-huh.
And then months later, football starts, and he calls me, would you like to go to an away football game? I'm not a sports person, so I told him, we're supposed to go to away games? He thought that was pretty funny. And so it ended up being on the 1-year anniversary of my father's passing away. So I'm coming back from Connecticut with my mom, and I said, oh, okay, but I have to drop my mom off. We're coming back from Connecticut. Would you wait for me? So he did. He waited for me at the Sequoia parking lot. And when I got there, he drove down to somewhere far away. Vernon, Cheryl.
Cheryl,
somewhere.
yeah.
It was far.
Vernon, Cheryl.
It was-
Maybe yes. Yeah, okay.
Maybe that was it.
Okay.
So we go to that, and we're just friends, and but that was kind of the beginning.
Okay.
Then a few months later, we actually had an official date.
Nice.
And Billy Howard, as he opened up his life to me, just brought me, showed me around the farm and let me meet his family, which is vast. He has a huge family. I just fell in love with him.
That's awesome. Billy, you sly dog, you. I know. What a great guy. And you guys are just like a perfect couple. You have a lot of very similar interests. And again, he showed you the farm, and it seems like you've grown very fond of that,
Yeah.
and the duties and all the work that goes beyond that. So that's what I was going to say. So you get done with working in your pharmacy career, and you begin you plunge into the farm life and almost kind of do like a pivot into a whole new realm of work ethics and different stuff. So what was that like for you?
Okay. So I then I didn't stop working at pharmacy for a while. I'm still working at Faxton while we were first married, but then my mom passed away. After my mom passed away, she left an inheritance, so in that sense, I didn't need to work full time anymore. Billy had insurance. That's the reason. It's not because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna depend on Billy and
Right. No,
and work
no.
on the farm.
Oh no, I hope I didn't come off like that either.
No,
Oh,
not.
okay.
But I did still work
Right.
until my
Right.
mom's passing, a few months after that. But that's the trigger point. And what I say to people is, I was able to retire, so I did.
Yeah.
And one thing you don't get when you're working full time, and especially in a pharmacy, you don't get to go outside and enjoy the day.
Yeah. Which you only get so many on this earth, so got to get out there and enjoy it.
So one of the things was, when I retire, that I'm going to enjoy every single day, go outside and just be able to appreciate
Take it
that.
in. Absolutely. That's fantastic. I mean, if you were able to, that's wonderful. And so it seems like you are utilizing each day, right? You got a whole new plethora of different avenues.
Yes. So now it's a whole new life, and one part of it is the farm, and I just loved it. It's weird. I'm pretty much a suburban girl.
Uh-huh.
When we lived up on Trenton Road in North Utica, in Marcy, we did have chickens growing up a little bit, but then we went away for a vacation, brought the chickens to a farm, and never picked them up again. So that was how we stopped taking care of chickens. I didn't realize then how great chickens are.
Yeah.
I really love chickens.
Why? What do you love about them?
I love that they lay eggs like pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And then we do sell the free range eggs at our farm.
Uh-huh.
Some people, like mostly relatives, but anybody is able to buy them. And I have some for you.
Oh, awesome. Nice. Guys, stop over to the Grassroots Farm in Cassville and pick yourself up some free range eggs.
You want to see them?
Wow.
These I picked yesterday.
Those are plump.
They haven't been
Thank you so
refrigerated
much.
yet.
Look at
so
this.
This is for you.
This is why I podcast, guys. Thank you so much.
And then I do want to show you that all chickens don't lay the same size eggs like you would get in the grocery store.
Okay.
So sometimes they're big, and this is not the biggest.
Holy
I couldn't find. We already ate the biggest one. It's we call them double yolkers. That is not, but there's some that are
This is
this
like
big
bigger than a golf ball, people. Like, it's huge.
or small, and you can have those too if you like.
There's a size difference right there. That's noticeably different. Wow, look
Yeah.
at that.
So
Okay.
we keep the smallest ones, and anything that has maybe a blemish, those are ours. Those are home use.
Nice. That's all. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I go through eggs so fast. I love hard boiled, poached. We have an oven at work, so I just make eggs all the time. You know, it's good lunch, you know?
Very good.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, chickens are pretty awesome, aren't they? And they're pretty intelligent. So you guys set up like an automatic little feed. Well,
I don't know about intelligence.
maybe not intelligent, but like clever in the sense that you guys set up that little feeder, and it had like the little spout, right? And what was it, like a button they had to push in order to get the
No,
food
that's
out?
somebody else, maybe.
Oh, I thought
We
you guys.
we just put it in a big feeder, and it comes out on the
Oh,
sides.
I
Just
thought-
a regular.
Oh, maybe I am thinking of someone else, but someone I know then has like a feeder with
I've
like a little button
seen
where
those, yeah.
they train them to like so they're not wasting food kind of thing.
Yeah,
Very
or
interesting.
water, maybe.
Yeah. So what else do you have on the farm? You guys have chickens and Billy had mentioned it, but you had goats now and.
No goats. We
Oh.
did have 2 goats, but they're gone.
Oh, okay.
We have sheep now.
Nice.
Billy has had beef cows for quite a while,
Mm-hmm.
and he continues, to take care of them. That's more Billy's responsibility.
Uh-huh.
I can move the fence. We do rotational grazing. I can move the fence, but he just has a beautiful way with them. They will come to, if he calls them, they come. And,
Wow.
And if any have to go to, on a trip, then he can sort them who needs to go and who's staying.
Really?
Yeah, he just is amazing.
Wow. Very, very interesting. I suppose it comes from years of kind of familiarization and all that.
Yeah, he's had them for a while, but he had to learn on his own as well. His, as he would say, his grandfather knew all about cows and probably horses, but he's passed away and he can't ask him anymore
Right.
questions. So he's learned from his cows, and I'm learning from the animals too.
Yeah, I can
and
imagine.
watching them and seeing how they interact. It's not all good.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, a lot can happen on a farm. So, are there like certain ethics and work responsibilities and things like that that you picked up from the farm?
I believe my work ethic has always been pretty high.
Yeah.
I like to keep busy.
Yeah.
So really, even though I'm retired, I don't sit down much
Right.
all day. My sit down time is in the evening after Billy comes home. Then we just kind of relax. But all day long, I'm moving, doing something.
Good. What's a typical day like?
Oh, so I don't like this question. Right now, we have a calf that needs to be bottle fed. We kind of grazed over the sheep. Did we say sheep?
We did say sheep. We can
Okay.
go back to that.
Okay, so feeding the calf every day in the morning and twice a day, morning and night. If there's something that needs to be cooked for, I cook. I do a lot of moving of food around, meaning we do, because we're a farm, get food that would be otherwise be thrown out, and I utilize that if I can, give to the animals what I can, and just so that there's less food waste. I forget the percentage. It might be 40% or so of food every day is wasted.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
the
that
right
sounds
number?
believable. I mean, you
so-
think of all the produce that rots away on the shelves, even
Yeah.
let alone anybody's house.
Well, that's what I get, the rotting produce.
Yeah.
So we cut off what's bad and then use what we can to make something else, or
Yeah.
give to the animals.
Yeah.
But that's seems to be a big part of what I do. I'm volunteering at the Friends and Neighbors, Sequoia Valley Friends and Neighbors, on Wednesday mornings.
Okay.
Almost every week, mostly, and I love the girls there.
That's awesome.
I know I'm younger than most of them, but so maybe I can move things for them if they're, something's a little bit heavier. So I'm happy to be there for that purpose, even if that's the only
Right.
big purpose that I have.
Now, for anybody who doesn't know, what's the Friends and Neighbors key?
Sequoia Valley Friends and Neighbors is on Main Street in Clayville, and they have a thrift shop there that's open Wednesday morning, Wednesday evening, and Saturday morning. They sell household goods and clothing to anybody who wants to come in. any of the money that they make goes to the food bank there for Sequoia Valley School District residents.
Awesome.
Anyone that's in need. It could be somebody that's might it be recommended from somebody in the school to try to go here and fill out some paperwork, and if you qualify, they will provide food for you.
Excellent. Yeah.
It really is. It's really great people that work there and keep it going.
Yeah, that's tremendous. You do that on Wednesday mornings?
Wednesday mornings. And also part of that, last week or the week before, I went to give blood at the school.
Oh, really?
On Thursday morning. So
Nice.
Wednesday I worked at the thrift shop. The next morning I'm giving blood. And who's there but my same friends from the Friends and Neighbors.
Oh, nice.
And that made me think that these core group of people are there for others more than just one place. Probably even they do their own things around the city, and I do my things. So there's certain people that are there and for everyone if they're needed.
Yeah, absolutely, and we need that in the world.
Mm-hmm.
In a time that so much is dark and kind of unfortunate to see, we need the good people out there helping each other, and so it's really encouraging to see people in the local community, and I'm sure that was kind of like a inspiring moment, almost, for lack of a better word, that you saw them there and you're like, oh, it's kind of like a like-minded individuals thing, and you all guys you all have the same morals and stuff, so that's really awesome.
Well, I've met a lot of so many great people through the Sequoia Valley Friends and Neighbors, and then I'll mention the church that Billy and I go to is Three Steeples United in Paris, and just again another amazing group of people. If I stayed home every day and read a book, I would not see the unbelievable people out there.
Right.
I just can't imagine not being able to help other people and meet these people.
And interact with each other and share stories and all that. And
well, I don't know about stories.
Yeah. But like, the same
You're
message.
getting my story.
Messages and stuff, it's all kind of an underlying theme of all having very similar, path that all brought us here together,
Sure. And well, you can imagine if you're in a place that there's other volunteers, they're because they want to help some other persons,
Right.
other people.
That's awesome. So you volunteer there on Wednesdays, and do you do any other throughout the week, right?
So then on Friday mornings, or Friday, usually from like 9:30 or 10 to 1:30, I'll go down to the Mother Mary Ann Soup Kitchen. That's on Columbia Street at the end of Varick Street.
Okay.
And I started going there because I had all that extra food that's still really good, and I didn't want it to go to waste. There's just so much that could still be used.
Right.
Brought that down there and then said, if you need any help, I could come and work here, volunteer here. So he said Fridays would be good, and now I go there every Friday.
Awesome.
Again, another group of amazing people that I volunteer with, but the clients that come in are so appreciative. It just makes it more worth it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So are they affiliated at all with the one over on you know what I mean?
There are several soup kitchens, Rescue Mission, Hope House, I believe, and they also provide a lot of meals for people, but this one is in West Utica.
That's awesome.
Right? West, yeah.
Yeah. It's
West Side. So each one, because most of the people that come might not have transportation, so they walk there.
Oh, okay.
So
it's in a good
they're
location, centralized location kind of thing.
For the people around there.
Right, yeah. So how can people, if they wanted to sign up, get in there?
If somebody wanted to volunteer, there is a website that they can go to.
Okay.
And just put in Mother Mary Ann's West Side Kitchen. I do have a phone number if you want it.
Sure, go ahead.
315-735-4429 if needed.
There you go, guys.
But yeah, the volunteers are needed everywhere. And then another place that I volunteer now seems like a lot too many.
No, that's fantastic.
So Your Neighbors Inc. is an organization that's been around for over 30 years. They provide frozen meals for people that are not able to go out, like to a soup kitchen or anywhere else that because of some sort of disability. They might be recovering after surgery and don't have the family support. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
If you don't have family support, what do?
Right.
You're home. They want you out of the hospital. They don't keep beds for nothing.
Right. Right.
And Your Neighbors really fills in the gap, especially with a backlog of people on the Meals on Wheels.
Okay.
They might qualify for that, but they're on a waiting list. So how many months can you wait for food?
So these guys are kind of help picking up the slack with what Meals on Wheels can't fulfill.
It's more or less. It's all of the clients are referred from doctor's offices or a hospital that's discharging someone. So it's nice to have Your Neighbors Inc. available.
Absolutely.
And to fill in that gap and other gaps, like if somebody needs transportation.
Oh, so they're helping with all different aspects of the. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes. Another is like friendly visits or phone calls if needed. But that's the one organization especially that needs volunteers. It's not well known, and even though it's been around a long time, some people think, oh yeah, I've heard of it, but don't really know much about it.
Yeah. I honestly, until now, I had not really known about it. So that's interesting that they can kind of reach all these different needs, if they just need some emotional guidance or if they just need someone to talk to or if they need a ride. That's awesome. We need more of that, especially in the Utica area,
Yes.
Which has been, historically known as the, kind of mental health prominence, and we're known for all the psychiatric hospitals that once were thriving here and all that. So there are still remnants and long-standing issues of populations in the city. So it's good to see companies that, even if they're lesser known, are now getting their name out there. Who knows who will hear this message, and
We
hopefully,
need volunteers.
guys, volunteer your time. So go ahead. What was the name of it again? Your Neighbors Inc.
And it's out of the Lutheran facility in Clinton on 108 Utica Street.
Oh, okay.
Their number is 315-235-7149, but you can look it up on the website.
Awesome. That's tremendous that you kind of have your fingers in all these different pies and you're helping different populations of people. That's awesome.
Yeah, that started because our church would do cook-ins, and we would prepare meals as a group with foil containers, a main dish and two sides, pack them up, and then they go into the freezer at the Zion Lutheran Church.
Okay.
Different side. And each person that does qualify gets 10 frozen meals and 4 soups and maybe some goodies, cookies, cakes, or whatever that's available, delivered right to their home.
Yeah, that's it's more than just getting a meal too. Sometimes just having a little snack, it's encouraging just to feel, that satisfaction. I don't know. So that's really cool that they're not just giving you the bare essentials. It's like, we recognize you have more than just needs. You have wants and desires, and we're gonna help you out. Give you a little bit of a snack there too. But I know on top of volunteering, you are highly into the conservation and the reduce, reuse, recycle mantra. So, were you always like that? Did you start? Was a period in your life
always.
that flipped the switch?
But let me say one more thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Your Neighbors Inc. Was founded by Carol Grove. She's the number one volunteer. When she goes and visits people, she's there, and she will chat with the person that might need to just talk.
Yeah.
And hasn't really had company in a while. So that's above and beyond, and she's amazing.
Wow.
So okay.
Well, thank you, Carol. Maybe I'll have her on here one day. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So.
Okay. Sorry.
So yeah. So
conservation.
Conservation and all that.
My dad was lived during the Depression, so he had my brother and I grow up through the Depression as well, saving everything.
Yeah.
I have, as an adult, always been made fun of for saving things. And one story in particular is as Billy's taking something apart, something with wood and nails, and I'm pulling all the nails out and putting them in my pocket. And he goes, "What are you doing that for? Nails are, like so cheap, and like it's a waste of time." So he's then working on that project, and he could not find any nails. He goes, "Oh, Jackie, do you have any nails?" And I go, "Oh, these." So anyway, that's one story. But even while I was working, I would save labels. My sample is these would have been thrown out along with anything that's not used. They just throw.
Right.
Everybody in the pharmacy would throw out.
You take what you need and get rid of the rest.
Completely.
That's most people in today's society, for sure.
So I saved them, and I'm actually, even though I've been retired now for 4.5 years, still using labels that would have been thrown out. I use them for my
from your former
labels
office.
for my eggs. But they just would have been in the garbage, and I'm utilizing them, and again would be made fun of every time I would save these types of things.
No, that's great. Conservation, right? Like lessening your carbon footprint.
I will also always try to reutilize things. Like an empty prescription bottle, I'll put Q-tips in it for travel, or always thinking about how to reuse something.
That's awesome.
Always. It's part of
It's kind of
my
like how you were
DNA.
up. Yeah, your father put that into you, and so did you kind of instill that into your kids as well?
I hope so.
I think so. Have you ever thought about maybe writing a book about all your little...
Oh, no.
Why not? Why not? I never would have thought to use one of my old prescription bottles for,
Well,
travel needs. And
They
stuff.
already have a book like that.
And you have it. I knew it.
1001 Old-Time Household Hints. Well, this isn't really that.
Old time. Okay.
So I saw this in a store and went to the library, took it out, kept looking through it, and as I'm going through it, I'm like, "Oh, this is good. This is good. This is good." And so then I went online and ordered it. So I did actually buy this one. Even though it is an old library book itself, I did buy it online.
What
but
are
there's
some
so
of your,
many different things
What are
in
some of your
here.
favorites? I was just going to
Oh,
say.
I don't know. There's so many. It's just great. Oh, is it Time's Up?
No, I think that's the creepy ice cream man.
Okay.
That was a weird one.
But anyway, I do refer to this.
That is cool. All right, so let's get an example.
There were so
Let's read an
many.
example. Okay.
I hope it's a good one.
Blend your own vintage scent. Victorian women understood well that when it came to eau de toilette, toilet waters, colognes and perfumes, it had to be crucial to use a very gentle hand. So they would use violet, rose, citrus scents such as lemon and orange. So this is interesting. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a background, and in a bottle with a tightly fitting cap, mix 4 or 5 drops of essential oil with 4 ounces of distilled water. So it's giving you a helpful little tints of how to make your own perfumes and all different stuff like that. That's pretty interesting.
Or anything. There's all different ranges.
Well, that takes a very creative mind, and we live in such a disposable society. Like you said, everybody will just use what they need and they throw it away, and especially food waste and food loss and all that. So it's intriguing, and I'm sure maybe even surprising to some people that you're able to, that somebody's out there, you taking the food that would otherwise be thrown away, and you're donating it to somebody who could still use it. I'm sure for somebody hungry, that food is good,
Oh, no, it's good anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is. It just cannot be sold. That's all.
Right.
It is fine.
But people do that all the time. Exactly. Something's past expiration, they throw it right in the garbage, or it's the day of even. We do live in quite a disposable society. If something, people buy electronics and all this, and they just throw them out the window in 2 years because they can buy the next newest one, and it's crazy. What have you noticed in terms of, you've been alive longer than I have, so to see the world transition into this, is it
I don't know if I'm that old.
Well, no, I just mean from like even in the 90s and all that. You had things were made more in the 80s. Things were more durable and all that, and people weren't. I didn't. Do you think it started
was a
then?
throwaway society back then.
Really?
Too.
So
Yeah.
it's just gotten significantly
you
worse.
You gotta go further back to.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've noticed it even in your lifetime, just
sure.
bad to worse.
I suppose. But there are people like another facet of that Billy and I had the adventure of being in is getting us a share of food from Old Path Farm.
Oh.
So it's a CSA in New Hartford, Grange Hill Road, and that in itself was a big changer of our lives.
Wow.
So we pay one amount and then get vegetables every week.
Oh wow!
Fresh vegetables, organically grown, absolutely beautiful. I've never seen some of the vegetables that we picked up, and you try to figure out how to use them.
Tremendous.
And it's like the best for you. The people that we met through Old Path Farm have been, again, amazing and intelligent. Waste nothing.
Yeah.
I won't say names, but just utilize. It's just very simple. Just whatever. They only have what they need, nothing more. And utilize the plants around them. The weeds that people kill, they are utilizing in something that could help you with
really
nausea or pain or
wow
a rash. So I've learned a lot. Billy's learned a lot from the people we've met at Old Path Farm. But that was a great experience to have started, and we still subscribe and just love to go there. And being part of Old Path Farm, you get to pick some of your vegetables. Depends on what, it might be peas, it might be raspberries, blackberries, cherry tomatoes. It's different. It's only the things that are in season, come ripe at that moment, like the old times.
Awesome.
Not where you want if you want a butternut squash in I don't know, June, where like the ones that were ripe from fall are spoiled now. The ones that they're getting the butternut squash from today might be from, I don't know, somewhere else and far away.
Right.
So this is all just local.
So you're only getting what's in season and all that. So I almost think that maybe some people are almost intimidated, or it's just the easy way out to not take the extra steps and learn how to reuse things.
Probably laziness.
Yeah, and again, kind of an underlying theme, unfortunately, in today's society is laziness, and so that's tremendous that this farm and everybody involved, and you guys especially, are learning and taking the time. And I'm sure nobody has all the answers. Nobody ever does, but you can always find new ways and innovative ways to do things. And I love like survival shows. I don't know if you ever watch those.
Me too.
You do? Like Survivor Man and all that?
Well, I don't watch Survivor Man, but I like how they try to figure out how to use what they have.
Yes.
That's what I do.
I think there was one, and he found just like a seat off an old snowmobile or something in the woods. And just the way he was utilizing everything down to like the cushion and the leather, and it's awesome. So I almost wish that I could like one day take a survival course or something, or like a reutilization course or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's like sometimes I think if people are like shown, if they don't have to do the self-research and the self-direction, then maybe they'll get a little bit farther down the path. I hope. Is that optimistic thinking on my behalf? Maybe. Yeah. But who knows? That's what I was going to ask you. It's never too late to change for anybody, right? You can always start helping the environment and doing your best to minimize waste and all that. What would you say to somebody who, if you're going to try and get them to turn it around and to help a little bit more?
One thing that made a big difference, I think, in our house, or my house before I got together with Billy, I changed from paper napkins or paper towels. One reason was because of the cost. But then, they're gone. We have no paper towels. Actually, I have one hidden in the closet, but I don't use it. We have napkins or, kitchen towels that we use daily. If once they're used, then we put them in the wash, so they're constantly being cycled.
Yeah.
That's one easy change.
Cut out the paper.
Use napkins and cloth napkins instead of paper.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know right now.
So don't you also make your own, haven't you made your own chapsticks and soaps and all that?
Yes, and I wanted to bring you some, but I couldn't find any that weren't already used.
You had your own chapsticks at the wedding, didn't you?
Yes.
I remember that now.
Well, I make them all the time, but I just couldn't find any that were not used. And I didn't think you wanted that.
Next time.
But I did find something that was not used yet.
Okay. Drum roll. Brrr.
So this is only because this is the only one that I had.
Okay.
Unused. It's deodorant.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the story behind that.
Okay.
Well, we were watching Extreme Cheapskates. And this guy is showing us how he makes his own deodorant. And I'm laughing and like, that's crazy. I mean, that's, you go to the store and you buy deodorant, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, now that's pretty good. Then also you're eliminating aluminum and
right.
anything that you shouldn't be putting on your body.
Yeah.
So I started making my own deodorant. And
so a lot of people don't even realize deodorant is just like aluminum, going into your sweat glands.
The antiperspirant part is
right.
the aluminum, but we should perspire.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just don't smell, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I worry about.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Quick check.
So this deodorant contains coconut oil, shea butter, baking soda, and cornstarch. That's it.
That's it.
So I mix it together, and that's for you. And for people who don't want to put their fingers into I'm giving him a little spoon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I put some Thieves
essential
oil in there.
I was going to smell. It smells it's very
that.
nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, that's tremendous. I want this room to smell like this. That's lovely.
Well, there is a Thieves cleanser too, which is really good.
Nice. Thank you so much.
That's another point that I want to make. You can, instead of all the harsh cleansers and other cleaning things, you can just use vinegar or lemon
right.
juice.
That's how I clean my coffee pot, is with vinegar, cleaning vinegar. Yep.
Or just white vinegar.
White vinegar, yeah.
I put vinegar in the softener thing instead of Downy. That's supposed to help soften your clothes.
Oh, nice.
I was making my own laundry detergent, but I started buying it again.
Yeah.
But you can with Castile soap and all that. But can't make everything.
Yeah, right. Not enough hours in the day always.
But our towels lose their absorbency when you use those softeners.
Okay.
I don't use dryer sheets anymore. We do have some that are natural. They don't work that great.
Yeah.
So that's the vinegar does seem to help. So we might be a little staticky sometimes.
Yeah.
It's okay too.
You need like a lint brush or something you can use that's like constantly reusable to get rid of static. That'd be a good idea.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I shouldn't have said it on the show.
Balls.
What?
Wool balls.
Oh, those work?
I use them.
For
Do they work? Yeah.
For static?
They're supposed to help. They're supposed to help dry your clothes more and with static.
Interesting.
That's what I do.
We have these anti-static guns for the balance at work at the lab I work at. So I wonder if I can just get one of them, just like kind of anti-static myself away. So that's awesome that you make your own toiletries and all that. Is there any other kind of different things that you make that you can think of offhand?
I need my glasses. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. She took notes. That's a good guess, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been thinking about this for months.
Really?
Ever since you mentioned that you might invite me.
Well, I'm glad to have you on.
Either.
Not sleeping either.
Thinking about this. Oh, free things are great.
Free things are great.
So, one example is there's there was a sliding glass door screen on the side of the road. I picked it up, and then now it's our screen door.
Oh, nice.
It works really good.
Yeah.
I got those hinges. I self-close. They were good. If there's a broken pencil, I'll like keep it until it's like there's nothing left. I'll just use it until nothing.
You'll never believe what people throw. That came right out of somebody's front yard because they were just throwing it away. That brown stand behind you with the printer on it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
it is nice. It's so sturdy. I think it's oak.
Yeah, it could be.
Really heavy duty, like heavy to move even. And I was like, just sitting there, and I'm like, you guys don't get rid of this? It's lovely. Yeah.
I've gotten other things too.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to show you. So the other night, a couple of days ago, Billy got a call from his niece, and they live in Baltimore.
Okay.
There's not a lot of farming that they're involved in. So they called with a question of, where do potatoes come from? And I'm like, I would think everybody knows, right? But just because of who we're surrounded by now and being in farming.
Potatoes come from potatoes, right?
Potatoes come from potatoes.
Yeah.
But like, how do they grow? Do you know?
In the ground with the roots, the eyes, right?
Yeah, tubers. Right?
Tubers, yeah.
So we just happen to have like this box of potatoes that are growing these. I don't know if anybody can see.
Tubers out, yeah, okay.
So that was our example. We had it right there. This is how potatoes. You put that in the ground, and you're going to have more potatoes.
Boom.
That's the other thing I love is reutilizing things that would be thrown out, rotten. This is no good to eat, but you can put it in the ground, and it'll be perfect.
Fully healthy potatoes.
Onions too, as they're rotting, just put them in the ground and see if they grow.
It's
if
like
they don't grow, that's okay.
Yeah, you didn't lose anything.
That's right.
I love that you brought bullet points of the good ones.
Oh, it's so I don't forget anything. I got more to show when you're ready.
I'm ready. Hey,
Okay.
we're on the ride.
So we have sheep.
Okay.
And, we don't want to kill them. We only had 3. Now we had lambs. So we have now 6 because we did lose our ram. Questionably, we don't know why. The father of the lambs.
Oh.
He passed away not too long ago. But this is some wool from him.
Oh, wow.
And so we have 6 bags now of
It's like hair.
raw wool. And what do you do with it?
Are you going to try and spin it?
So we washed. You have to wash it.
Okay.
So I did wash it. Whoops. I did wash it. It takes time.
Yeah.
Like hot water and a little bit of Dawn and wash it to get the lanolin out.
Uh-huh.
So this is not washed. But with the ones that were washed, then I did try to figure out what to do with it. And I made some animals.
Oh, wow.
There's a hummingbird.
Look at that.
There's a little eaglet.
Little wool animal.
Little eaglet, I guess.
Wow. That's really clever. Very interesting.
Little owl.
Now, did you just kind of wing it, or did you look up how to do these?
I look it up.
Oh, okay.
And then this is
Very
because
cool.
of Nick. Sleeping Bunny.
Wow. That's really well done.
It takes a long time though, so
That is impressive. Look at that.
it's kind of on the
Little
hold.
bunny. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So that's the new hobby is
Well, I was doing that because we have so much wool, but I haven't done it in a little while.
is there going to be a day where you do socks and hats and all that?
I did try knitting, but it's not that easy.
Do you have to like spin it into like long ropes, kind of like yarn
Yeah,
and
this
then...
you would have to, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Clean it, card it, like separate the fibers, then spin it, then you have yarn.
Wow.
So it's involved. Anything, all the old time things just take so long.
Right.
It really, really does.
Very interesting. Wow. So, I mean, no lack of interest here or hobbies or avenues of cool stuff. That's tremendous though, because most people don't even think about making their own things. And so here's a great example of someone who does it successfully. And
Well, I don't know about successful.
hey, look at that. This smells pretty successful over here.
It works.
That's a
pretty
jar
good.
of success you gave me. That's awesome.
Oh, the more you give, the more you get. I kept trying to think of what points to make. That's one thing that always seems to happen. Like I'll volunteer and I'll work hard and do whatever, but I get way more back, whether it's friendships or excess food or whatever. Way more back than I give.
Yeah.
So.
I think if you will go back to Billy's podcast, you will hear him say a very similar theme, that you get out of it tenfold what you put into it. And so that's true of most things, guys. If you're putting in the effort and you appreciate what you're doing, and you reckon you're not trying to be selfish with it, you're trying to be selfless, and you're trying to just help someone else, you'll get the gratification, sure, but then you never know, down the long road what it'll bring to you. So
yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. It sounds like you have quite a lot of fulfillment coming out of all these different avenues and helping people and learning new things and working on the farm and everything. So that's awesome, and it's inspiring to see.
I hope so.
Yeah. So do you have any more tips for anybody out there who wants to kind of get started in conservation and farming or anything really? Because similar to how your path has a lot of different stops, so does everybody else's, that maybe they just need the right words.
Well, I would say, especially food-wise, you know how they say people are starving in the United States, and I think the first step, and they say that the food is too expensive, the good food is too expensive. Grow your own.
Yeah.
If there's anywhere, even in the city, you can have plants in pots. Grow your own, and you know what's in it. You know it's when it's fresh. You eat it. That's the best time to eat it.
Right.
When it's fresh, it's the most nutritious. Not later. Days
later.
Yeah. Tips. I don't. You tell me. I don't
know. I don't know. Sometimes I like to end it. We've been over an hour now, and sometimes I just like to end it, with somebody else's perspective on the world, and with your path as having as many different turns and all the different awesome, inspiring things that you do in the community, as well as on your farm and for yourself. Just kind of like your perspective on it. If you wanted to give anybody a quib to kind of wrap up on.
I do have one more thing that I brought.
Oh, yeah, let's see it.
Okay, so I think it was 8th grade. My 8th grade social studies teacher gave everyone in the class this poem.
Okay.
It's called Don't Quit. And I gave this to my kids and to Billy's kids, and just it made a big difference to me getting through college even. So it's weird, it's corny, but okay, I'll read it.
Yeah, absolutely. This would be a great way to wrap it up. Awesome.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is weird with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many an athlete turns about when they might have won had they stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when your hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you mustn't quit.
Wow. That was great. That was great. What's that? Oh, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Fire it off.
One more thing.
Yeah, totally.
So music became a big part of our lives with the band that we were in.
Oh, we didn't even get into the band. Let's get into the band. We have time. We can go whatever we want. I forgot. So you, in addition to playing violin in high school, you're getting back into it now.
Well, we were in it for maybe 4 years. We had a band called Leg Up, and it was a lot of fun, and it was great to be able to entertain people. Not my strong point, but I was a part of that. And I played the violin, and then I tried to learn mandolin a little bit, and did a little singing. But
Did a little singing.
Paris Hill Cafe and Barn is one of the places that gave us our chance or our way to play in front of people, our first place. And then we did play other places, even Munson Williams in the summer sidewalk show. So that, and it was fun. It was good. But we're at the end of 2018, we kind of disbanded. But that's okay. We enjoyed it, and I just wanted to make a little plug for Paris Hill Cafe and Barn. The barn is behind the Three Steeples Church in Paris Hill, and every Thursday night there's potluck dinner at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock is music. We've had some really great people. This coming Thursday is the Blues Crew with Kathy Timian.
Awesome.
And then after that, Pepper and Sassafras and so on. But if you come, you'll get the whole list every Thursday. And that is a lot of fun. Nice community event up there. And every Saturday morning now, we are serving breakfast. It's pay what you can. And you come in and you can get, your bacon, eggs, sausage, pancakes, and home fries. And just pay what you can. It's a nice community gathering place for anybody who just wants a quick breakfast or sit around for an hour or so. That's fine. 7 to 10 a.m. on Saturday.
That's great. Oh, that's really cool. Pay what you can concept,
Yes,
for whoever.
yes. Well, that's what I have for our eggs too. It's $3.50 a dozen, or pay what you can. If you can't afford $3.50, that's fine. If you can afford $1, then I'll give them to you for $1.
Right. Oh,
or
wow.
50 cents.
Wow. Yeah. So, guys, stop over to the Grassroots. Get yourself some fresh eggs. Stop over to the Paris Hill Barn for a lovely... What was that?
Fresh eggs and beef.
Fresh eggs and beef. And beef. Do you guys keep the beef out in the freezer?
We have it in the freezer.
Awesome. So you get yourself some grass-fed beef right there in Cassville. And on, what's the name of that road again?
Reservoir Road.
Right. So, and other than that, we'll see you Saturdays for the communal breakfast. So what a great message you spread, Jackie. And you're a great person. You're very inspiring. You have a hell of a story. And I was fortunate to get you on. I like to wrap up the show usually by doing the old walking bass outro. And just basically plug it all. Oh, yeah, sure. You want to get the violin in here and wrap it up that way?
Oh, no, don't you have that one we did? Oh, you already did it. You already put it on?
Yeah. So, yeah, check it out, guys. I'm going to try and do... after this, we're going to get a recording of it on my microphone, though, and see if we can't make it like an audio thing. So check out Jackie's fantastic violin playing skills on the Instagram and Facebook page. Check out Lost Guidance every Sunday at 2 o'clock on Twitch. And check it out later that evening on YouTube and SoundCloud. Again, go to the Grassroots Farm for all your farm fresh eggs and beef needs. And guys, help out the community. Donate a little bit of your time, even if it's an hour or two a week. Even if you're helping to drop off a few boxes of food to the Clayville thrift store or whatever. If you're giving some help, whatever, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Help. Spread a little bit of positivity. And as Jackie, as Billy, as everybody has said, as anybody can attest, you get out of it tenfold what you put into it. So that feeling of helping somebody else and that gratification you get from knowing that you can lay your head at night and that you've done something positive for somebody else, there's no feeling like it. So I think that's the underlying theme here, people. It's get out there and help somebody, do the things that make you happy. Never stop learning, and never stop trying to better yourself and help others. So again, thank you to everybody who keeps supporting the Lost Guidance podcast. Keep an eye out for more great content. Next week we will be going live with Anthony Z. Donaldson, who's one of the founders of the Disruption Network, and these guys are like family to me, so it'll be great to have him on. Other than that, try not to get lost out there. Jackie, you have anything else you want to say? Any other plugs?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for coming on. This has been awesome. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Try not to get lost out there. Bye-bye.